Alright, so again I am back. This is Enayat Meer and network access protection. So let's have some overview, not in much detail because I do have a separate video, in fact several videos about network access protection. So this is just an overview. So just take a look about this topic first, and this is just an overview to look at what is a network access protection. So separately, actually, I have posted several videos. One I just finished yesterday. That is about 15 minutes long, and that will talk about just a discussion about network access protection. So the one that video will refer to is about 70 minutes. Yes, 1 hour and 9 minutes. So just take a look on this document's explanation, and then we're gonna move on to a new topic, which is a direct access. So as we all know that everybody logs in from home using a VPN and using a Cisco VPN client and some other third-party tools. Actually, we want to avoid that, and we want to have something within Windows which can be used actually. So here, after this small review, I have some setup and some labs using a Hyper-V environment or virtual environment. So we will talk about that one. That is a small explanation here about the lab and lab numbers, and this is a lab scenario. So you're going to look at the scenario, what actually scenario is, and what is the lab object. So this is a brief overview of the lab object. So what I would suggest that you should pause the video, look at the objects, and again when you get to scenario part on the next screen, so you look at the scenario and have a small idea about in your mind about those the environment what we have. So we are going to use a client PC, a server, we are gonna use an internet PC, and we're gonna use a domain controller, and where you're gonna have this all information available. And on the right side I do have my machines, and here you see all multiple machines here. SVR is a server, and RTR is a router, CL1 or CL is a client, and DC is a domain. And then because the way we have this setup is a virtual environment, and we are using LMS online environment where you have these all set up ready. And on the bottom of the screen, as you see that, I have lab steps. So first we are going to perform some prerequisites, so where we can look at that how our setup is and our IPs of each client and of each server. Okay, but you also can see that on the bottom, so you can follow those steps from the screen, and simply you are using actually method what they provided, but I would always go and do this NC, Nancy Charlie Paul, NCP, A as an apple, .cpl to get into my network properties. So here we went through the control panel and we actually took out these properties. So I'm going to save these settings in a Word document for later on usage, or in case if we have to come back and remember this environment. So I'm opening up a simple Word document where I am saving this document anyway. So if in case you have an access to LMS and you want to access this lab using LMS, where you can purchase these labs actually through the website is lms.learnondemand.net. So where you can go and through a school, wherever you are actually buying these classes, you can purchase and then follow along. So I am going to look at these settings from each client. So I was on DC1, which was a domain controller, and where I actually copied over my settings from DC1. The one I am on right now is a LON-RTR, which is a router. So I am logging into this as a Datum administrator. Meanwhile, I would say that just please disregard the background noise because I am sitting in a Starbucks where I am doing this recording. So in this way you might have, but of course my audio is heavier than the background noise, so you should be able to understand what I'm talking about. So I'm in a router, and this is a console which I'm opening up, which is a routing and remote access services. So you have to look at the console first, whatever the default configuration is. So you can, as a request by the steps, disable and then enable back the way you want to enable it. So we are currently disabling this concept, and you enable it back, right click on the start button, and then simply you're going back to control panel to look at the settings first of this one. Later on you have to enable it back because we have to perform some more steps after this one. So again we are going to copy the settings of this network also. So as you know what we are going to do here, we have a multiple network cards because this is not a regular PC, this is a router. So you can copy all necessary settings from this router, or this is also known as a multi-homed computer because one PC running multiple network cards. So enabling and disabling also refreshes actually the network, because we are using a virtual PC, we may not have to do in real life. But I am going to disable and enable back these computers just to refresh the connection in case if you lose connectivity between your network computers, clients or servers, and you want to come back actually online and communicate with other computers. So we have several ways. We used to go and disjoin and join back client to the domain, but in case if we are basically not communicating from point and server point of view, my client did not log into the domain for 60 days or, and looking at settings on my network on this computer also. So we are just telling the IP address on these computers. So this is my RTR and multiple network cards. One is Ethernet, Ethernet 2 and internet. So we really don't have internet, but we are just act as an public IP address. We have it like we have an internet. So in the real scenario you might have to make a little change. So this actually this bulb is where we have information to type in. Sometimes we have this info right over here and we can type in, and you will see that I will go like in pause and go, pause and go in this way. So in this way you will see or understand what is the situation here. So done on the bottom right side is the button where you perform a step and then click on done button. So this is a CL1. LON-CL1 is my client, which is a domain member. So I am going to log into my adatum.com domain. Okay, you just have to be careful when you click on to log into these computers because it is a preset like that. And the password basically is capital $PA$W0RD, which you can see actually under the client name. So that is the password. which we have stored already. So also I use my Explorer as well to go into control panel or to the command line or making a UNC path, whatever. Yes, we do have this option, so you can do it from the Explorer. So again, I'm going to look at my Ethernet properties, look at the IP address, and I want to copy it and record it. So you may or may not see the process which I'm collecting and then copying, because sometimes in the process you will see that I'm going to pause and then go. Okay, so this is the IP address of my CL1. So these are all actually under my LON-DC1. These are all my domain numbers. So we are just having to have a good actually picture of this environment. So on the back end, actually, without showing you, I am saving these all configurations in a Word document. So later on, when we have to go in and use them, and you might gonna need to go in and look at the configuration, and possibly we will do that. This is another client, which is a member server. So this is LON-SVR1. So from the dashboard we can add and remove stuff. And for currently I'm going to evaluate my IP address from this computer. Same way we went before. Again, I said you can go either way to the network card properties and copy the information whatever you want to copy or you want to look at. So that's where you can look at the IP address of LON-SVR1. So as you see that we have this IP 172.16.0.21. So this is a network which is under my domain network. Okay, so if we have to communicate between two different networks, we will come through the router, because the router is running multiple network cards. So now we are going into iNet1, like an internet computer. Same way we are logging in as an administrator, so that will tell you that this account belongs to admin. Same way, same process, same configuration, same settings. Looking at our IP address, and I am going to note it down at the back end. I will take a screenshot and will note this IP address as well. So 131.107.0.100, and as you have seen, this is a public IP address, because we will pretend this is an internet computer. Again, I have saved all of these configurations of all client computers and all servers, and at the back end I have a Word document where I am saving this information. So this was iNet1. So now I am going to start the lab process. So we are just going to verify the readiness of DirectAccess deployment, and this is a part 1 of my DirectAccess lab. So I'm going back into my domain controller LON-DC1, and you have multiple ways actually to browse around these servers, and you will see some shortcuts as well. So I'm going into my Active Directory users and computers, and this is my tools. From the tools I access this one. You also can use a DSA, like a D as in David, S as in Sam, A as in Apple, .msc to access your Active Directory console. So now we are going to create these OUs as required. So This is the first OU which I am creating, DA clients OU, where you're gonna place your direct access clients who are going to log in. And the second container which I'm adding in it here under that same OU, and this is a group. So I'm using this group scope global and type is security, and these are the clients. So in this group we're gonna add those clients basically which we are going to allow permission for direct access. So you have to look at the member. There are no members, but you have to actually click on the object types if you want to add a client. So I will add a computer, so I have to check this computers checkbox. So in order to detect a computer, we are going to look for our clients and we're going to add them, and keep and focus on these steps, because later on when you work on the direct access console, you're going to look for these members, and you would know exactly at that time what are you basically going to do with these clients and what type of access you are giving them. So far under DA clients I'm adding this one user. Okay.
It's so hot. They usually have the AC
This is about the first part.
It's getting colder outside.
Server
I still want a t-shirt though.
readiness. Okay. Now we are going into the scenario again. Just pause it, look at the scenario and understand, because when you come back and do the steps, at that time you would actually know this scenario.
I want to buy a shirt. I need to buy one.
So you remember that we disabled our routing and remote access server services, and tools is actually our administrative tools, and we are going to access this remote access console from tools. So this is already available and installed for this lab purpose. So L1-RTR is our router. That is where you start from, getting started with it. So here you choose that what do you want to configure. So here we are going to configure direct access, and you will see small definitions of each option as well. And from the bottom you will look at the steps, and it is easy for everyone to perform those steps on the same screen. But again I said that if you need to have a PDF, so then I can send you that PDF directly. And as you know that we just created some one OU and we added up the client. So whatever default settings are, you can remove those and add yours, and you will see automatically some GPOs will be available. You will see in the next step. Datum.com is our domain controller. So far you have those remote clients under the bottom option, remote clients, which are domain computers. So we don't want to give this access to all domain computers, but we do want to give whoever we want to. Then we can remove it as suggested, and you can add what you want to add, and you remember that who you want to add. because this group could contain one member and could contain multiple members. And as you remember, we added up only one client so far. Later on, you don't have to go through this all configuration, and you just keep adding clients as needed. You don't want to enable or keep enabling mobile option. You have nothing to do right at this point. So this client setup is done from that point of view. Just take a peek here, review whatever basically was done so far.
Vamos a ver las sudaderas para claras. No, pero ¿para qué? Estás así con mi no me voy a emocionar. ¿No hay qué? No hay cupo. Sí, por eso no veo.
So this part is done.
No hay en el
So we just have configured a getting started visit.
¿De quién es este?
And we also gonna see possibly a background noise reduction, because there was a group of people. He's leaving now, it's good for me. So first part was done. So this was a getting started visit. So getting started visit was done. Now you're going to look for the verification option. So you're going to look at the group policy object deployment. And now you have a console right there under remote access, and you can go those all steps one by one. So on the bottom, I'm focusing on that steps as well. So you can as well, the way I'm doing this one, you can look at those steps to continue. This is the way you restart your PC in the new environment. And I would also use a shutdown command with a -R for the reboot and -T for the time, and I usually put 5 seconds on it through the command line, or you always can go into the start window and you can also from start menu you can restart. Yeah, sometimes you have a little fat finger option here. This happens, so you just have to be a little bit careful. Yeah, I will get used to it anyway. So yeah. So I'm on CL1. Again, I said before that we can access command line through the start or through the Explorer. So here we're going to update group policy, GP update space /force. This will update our group policy. So it will tell you if it's updated or not. If it's not, basically there are some alternate options too. You can log off, log in back. Here you are looking at the result of the group policy. You can view this on screen, or you can send it to a different location or in a share folder or into your root drive, where you can actually read this configuration. So you have your computer setting and the user settings. So we see DirectAccess client settings, applied group policy object. So we do have these client settings applied. So I marked this as in highlighted. So that's how you verify your group policy settings, if it's applied or not. So on the back end, you will see sometimes I do not type straight while I am talking. I just pause my video. It's a nutshell command, and I just type sometimes command at the back end. And there is a way to copy from the lab steps commands, and you can actually add into the clipboard all of these commands, and then you can paste. So this all can be achieved the way you go through the control panel. Actually, you can just simply do ncpa.cpl, as I said before, and you simply can go into your Ethernet setting and properties. Now I'm disabling my first network card, enabling my second network card, where you can look at that what are my settings and what is my IP right now. So if you look at this IP, it's a public IP. So the point is that you are somewhere at home and you are trying to now access. You have a public IP address, or you are on the internet and you are not on the network, but you are going to be on the network. Just verify the settings what you have, and you know that we disabled one network card and we enabled this network card, which has nothing to do with our network. So technically speaking, we are not on the network now, but you will see the beauty of DirectAccess. So in other words, you could think that we have this isolated IP address on our CL1. And you want to talk to L1-SVR1, and you want to look at shared documents in that server. So if you don't get this UNC path right away or web browser access right away, you might want to wait for a few minutes and then come back and try again. You should be able to. I'm trying to talk to my server. To the browser, I'm trying to access to IIS of my SVR1, and I'm getting a positive response. So I see my default page. Now I'm using a UNC path and think that way that I am on CL1 and I'm using a public IP address, but I'm still able to talk to L1-SVR1 because of DirectAccess implementation. So I'm actually able to communicate. So far, these are the two different networks, but we are communicating. And you look at your IP address that you see. I do have a IPv6 tunneling IP address. I got my network cards IP address, which is looks like a public IP address, which has nothing to do with the network, in other words. But I do have this IP address, and I do have a communication between my client and with the server. We're talking about the tunnel 1 adapter, IP HTTPS interface. Okay, and this is the command, show effective policy. And there could be a typo. Yeah, when we type in PowerShell, and keep in mind in the command prompt or in the PowerShell, we do not have actually case sensitivity in that one. Okay, so I was missing name, it was a typo. So you also can read details at the bottom of the screen. So you are looking at the settings. So to convert from command line to the PowerShell, all you got to do is type PowerShell. It will convert from command line to the PowerShell. So this is the direct access client command, where you can see the settings. Going into the router, just looking for IP HTTPS in the connection details pane, and that is where you can look at the settings from your direct access console. So we do have a lot of work to do with the direct access console. So we do have IP HTTPS. That's where you have your connection details. So far everything is ideally working nicely and good. And as you know that we have these 526 steps for this whole video. So I will split this video in a few parts. So I will possibly gonna stop at yes, the first section at 114 parts. So that will be your first part of your direct access lab. So I will continue this one from here, but look at the lab B basically scenario. And I'm just gonna also type in case if you don't have an idea, but I'm going to come back in my video too. And these are the screens which I have recorded. So these are all settings of my IPs of my all clients, my router and my servers, including domain controllers. So I'm going to save this Word document in case if you guys need it, and you always welcome to email me and or let me know if you need this one. So I will split these videos in few parts actually, because I want to keep them separate. But these are long videos and you might want to have a couple of hours for these videos. So I'm gonna stop here and I'm gonna see you in the next video, actually in the video too. Thank you.